My name is Darren Joseph and welcome to HJ.tax, of the firm where we seek to demystify the somewhat confusing world of international tax and compliance. Today, we're going to do it a bit differently. Rather than just talk tax, we have the opportunity and the privilege to have a conversation with Mick, a friend. He's not a client, a friend who does live that international lifestyle. Mick, do you want to say a few words, introduce yourself to those who may be watching?
Well, thank you. I don't think it's a privilege you having me. I think it's the other way around. But I'm flattered, so thank you very much. So I'm Mick Newman. I know this gentleman for, I think, the better part of 25 years, and we've been on a hell of a journey together. I live a sort of semi-nomadic lifestyle, I believe, in the sense that I split my time evenly between the Caribbean and the UK. Sort of every 5 to 6 weeks, I'm back and forth. And this presents some interesting, revelations about lifestyle and the realities of doing business and having multi-jurisdictional clients, which is something that Darren has lived for the past, I believe, 15 to 20 years. And I've been sort of living it, but it's been more amplified since post-COVID.
Mick is, let me put it this way, he's an Oxford-educated entrepreneur, international consultant. Of course, I don't want to get into specifics of what you do because, of course, your clients are quite confidential. But I think that creates context as to who you are and the breadth of experience and competence you bring to a conversation and a consideration like this. Well, what is sometimes a controversial topic? ESG. Some people say it's window dressing. Some people say it's the future. I know this is an area that you consult in. What say you?
Good question, because getting into all kinds of conversation about ESG and sustainability. A lot of people don't really understand the subtle nuances between or differences between sustainability and ESG, right? So, sustainability in its most basic form is doing what is required to ensure that you have a business in the future. Right. That's essentially what it is. And all aspects of sustainability, from ensuring your supply chain is optimized to investing in local communities to doing all these things. That's sustainable activity. ESG is a term largely coined by financial markets, which provides a sort of structured, measurable way of approaching sustainability to really impact your ratings or an organization entity's ratings, right, by the ratings agencies, and to enable you to access green capital or financial capital. That being said, the purpose-led ESG, meaning the definition of why an organization exists and its impact on people and planet, right? And the way it's enacted through environment, social, and governance activity sets is something that I believe is very, very relevant, right? It's very relevant because we're now in the age of, talking about balanced capitalism, right? As balanced as it can get, right? And I think that is something that leaders, particularly in emerging markets, are now trying to wrap their heads around, because it means you have to move from being quite transactional and heavily operational in what you do to being a bit more strategic and a bigger picture thinking, right? To understand the wider ecosystem that you're operating in. And a good example of that would be the access to financial capital, right? If you're in an emerging economy like, let's say a CARICOM country, the local financial markets are only going to invest a certain amount, right? Many of them don't invest significantly at all. So it's the foreign financial markets, largely led out of Western Europe and North America, that will provide that kind of capital, but they will put very, very strict criteria on what you have to do in order to continue being financed, right? And a good example is, the energy company in Trinidad that I currently advise. I mean, I've been writing the ESG reports, an assured ESG report, for the last 2 years in order to meet those criteria that were placed on them by the foreign banks. And you would see more of this proliferating because, the capital does not sit in small emerging markets, not the size of capital that's required for a just energy transition. It's coming from the foreign markets. And then you start getting into that whole discussion around, well, who's really emitting? Who's really damaging the environment? Is it the small emerging markets or the big ones, right? But this is part of, I think, a natural evolution, right, for concepts like this to materialize and become enacted.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that. So definitely, as someone whoever may be looking to live that international lifestyle, definitely keep in mind that it's not a local phenomena, that it is a global movement, and it's being driven by one of the most important factors from a business point of view, which is money, which is capital. So I guess as we all progress, it's just something we need to onboard. No
Absolutely.
choice. Okay.
Absolutely.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.